when we say, hey, Passport Bros is lit, right?
Yep.
Instead of saying like, hey, yo, I wasn't able to find a woman that liked me. For the women that I like, I wasn't able to find them until I went here. That's different than saying, hey, yo, the women in America ain't it. Y'all should do. That's different.
So men are on the front lines going overseas and they're coming back like, yo, women in America are trash.
And those guys, it's not a matter of, oh, I can't find a woman, right? It's a matter of, I don't want to deal with the American woman mindset.
I'm Simeon Pando.
Victoria Monet.
Dang. I'm Melvin Gregg.
This is another episode of Nice and Neat.
I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon.
Yo, they're different.
Find wives.
I'm trying to find
Passport
wives.
Bros are specifically looking for wives.
To be fair, okay? To be fair, some men are looking for wives. Some men are just trying to have a good time.
Okay.
All right, to
Okay.
be fair. But the premise of it is like we're gonna go look for women to with the hopes of bringing them back home to America. I mean, right, and then making them a wife, right, and hoping that they still stay true to the, you know, the motherhood thing, the wife thing, the cultural value thing, in America. So that's kind of where it started. But there's so much conversation about it because now women in America are saying like, oh, y'all are only going out there because y'all want the easy route. Y'all are looking for weak women. Y'all are looking for women that just want to do whatever y'all want, right? Y'all looking for pushover women. And then they're even saying, okay, y'all are taking advantage of women, right? So my thing is, I'm cool with what they're doing. I'm cool with the whole Passport Bro thing. I feel like, yo, if you're somewhere and the person that you like or you want to get at is not really receptive or making it hard for you, or is saying things like, oh, yo, we don't like you, or you don't have enough for me, right? You don't have enough money for me. You're not tall enough for me. You're not attractive enough for me. You don't have as much status for me. So what happens is when women feel those things about you, it's not like they treat you right.
Yep.
It's not like I could just say, yo, I'm unattractive. I'm not attracted to you, and that's it. But I'm still nice to you. That's kind of not how it works. It's like, yo, if you can't do nothing for me, I'm treating you bad. That's kind of how it works. So guys is like, all right, cool. Well, no doubt. These girls over here, they're gonna treat me like a king. So I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go where I'm celebrated. And that's the mentality around it. And I just think it's like, all right, cool. Just go. Principle of life for anybody, go where you celebrate it. So I don't see nothing wrong with it.
I don't see nothing wrong with it either. I feel like, I mean, I know this is on a smaller scale, but people move state to state to find people that they looking for or that
that's
could be more attractive to, you know what I mean?
Or different personalities.
Or different dating scene, you know what I mean? So like, and no one ever kind of shames them or says, you know, that they trying to take the easy way out, you know what I mean? So I feel like if you're someone that may be attracted to women of a specific culture from another country, you know, I mean, and you haven't been able to find what you want, because I don't feel like every man is actually looking for an easy way out or looking to avoid women that aren't pushovers or that can't make it work with an American woman. Some men may actually just be looking for something that's exotic.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Okay, when you say exotic, though, what do you mean? Because
sorry, I used the wrong word. When I say I should have said some men are looking for women from
foreign. Is that the word?
Yeah, foreign.
Okay.
From foreign countries.
Okay.
So I don't see nothing wrong with it. And if women say men are running from the hard things, then they don't really understand what the men are walking into, because no matter what, when you walk into a situation with a woman, it's going to be something that you're going to have to navigate through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And just because it's not cracking over here doesn't mean it's going to be cracking over there. The old phrase is the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
I got you.
Right? So, you know, I think that like women think that men are running away from issues here to go find something easy, but men are still going to run into problems, because the problem lies within them.
Yeah.
It don't lie within the woman. Don't get me wrong, women can have their own issues too, but I feel like, you know, that's how some men are actually thinking about it. It's like, yo, I'm not running from anything. I just see something else that I actually like better over there.
Yeah, I got to be fair too. Fair.
What?
Dammy calls it sex tourism. It's not called, apparently the real word for it is sex tourism, right?
So we're not looking for no wife then.
So like, no, I don't know where the sex tourism.
I mean, you're looking for a wife based off of the sex.
But but how though?
Nah, you're not looking off.
Nah, because some countries you go to,
Let's sit here and be honest.
Yeah,
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's sit here and be honest.
Yeah.
you're gonna fly to Colombia, and you're gonna be like, man, I want to court this girl back and forth. No, you went out there, you guys had a good time, and you guys enjoyed each other, and you're like, yo, you know what? I enjoyed this level of submissiveness, and I enjoyed our sex that we had, and I want to bring her back home.
Yeah.
Where the issue lies in it. The issue that lies in it is the fact that it's being glorified. Nobody cares if somebody goes in, if somebody just flew to Colombia, they went over there, they married somebody, they came home, and they married them at home, and that was you and your family under your roof, it'll be all good.
Yeah.
Where the issue is like, yo, fellas, y'all got to come over here because it's way better over here.
It's cracking over here.
It's cracking over here.
That's crazy.
Right? And in order for somebody to big up something,
you got to put something down.
You got to put something else down.
All right.
And when you putting down, if you're a black man, right? When you say the women back home aren't it, you know what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't got to say it.
Yep.
Right.
You know what you're saying.
Right.
So therefore, somebody else is being put down in order for you to big up this. And then you also are giving it a PSA. Hey, by the way, if you just went over there and you did it yourself and that was it, nobody would have any problems with it at all. Where it becomes an issue is where you got to put something down in order to glorify what you like.
Right. But the idea, right? Let's talk about the idea, because you're right about in terms of like the context of glorifying it, you know, and making it a movement. Or I get that. But the idea that someone, if you're living in America, and I would even take it a step further, because I'm like this too, right? If a woman has bad experiences with black men, right? And she tells me, she's like, you know what? I don't date black men anymore because like I just feel safer with white men. Based on her experience, I have to accept that.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have to accept it, because who am I to tell her, hey, nah, we're not all like that, even though her experiences tell her this is what we're like. All right? So when a man, because I said this before, I used to dog men that, I used to give men a hard time that didn't date black women, right? But I realize it's unfair of me because I don't know their story. I don't know the history. I don't know their experience. I don't know what black women have emasculated these men. I don't know I don't know the relationship with their mom. I don't know anything. So it's unfair of me to just like take my experience and say, nah, like I love black women. Yeah. Black women love me. Come on. And you should do it too. It's not fair, right? Because people just have different experiences, right? So I think, and again, it's not just a black man thing. It's a white man doing this too, right? So we're talking about it because it's black, but it's not a black man thing, right? It's plenty of white men talking about, hey, let's get the passports, bro.
But are those white men going over there and...
yes, they're marrying these women. They're going over there and bringing them back and marrying these women.
Also, let's factor this in too. Outside of these women being with said men, they want to be in America more than anything.
Right.
They weren't just over there waiting to just fall in love and then when an American comes over, and that's another thing too. We talk about there being a position of power. We talk about that in situations. In this situation, there's a position of power. There's a position of I have this and you don't. And I can offer you this if you can offer me that. So there's an exchange there. And that's why they call it sex tourism.
Yeah, but also you don't even have to be rich though. You feel me?
go do this.
You don't have to be rich.
Nah.
Because America is luxury. Low end America is luxury to...
I was about to say, everybody who lives in America is rich.
Okay? So
to these other countries.
Everyone.
Yeah, bro.
So you can go overseas and meet a woman. I mean, they're not all naive and just going to be like, oh yeah, take me. They're not all going to do that. But still, right? There's a lot of these women overseas that look at American men and be like, okay, well, he's doing all right. Right? He's doing better than what
I'm
I
doing.
have options. You know, my options and stuff like that. I don't have the same type of liberation. I don't have the same type of resources. I don't have the same type of access. And I just don't have, like, the men out here are just not it for me. That's how I feel. Okay, I want to have kids. I've been socialized. I've been raised to have kids. So let's do it. Are you going to take care of everything? Cool, let's do it. All right, for sure. And guys are doing that. And they're saying, yo, we're going to go over here and we're going to meet women who are submissive and feminine and all these adjectives that describe what a high value woman is to men. And they're going to take them here and bring them back. All right. And I'm saying that, like, yeah, they're not coming to America for you. They're coming to America for America. Cool. It doesn't really matter, because if you already have issues with women here, right? If you are looking at the landscape of women here and you're saying, nah, I don't like how this is going. I don't like how I'm being treated for not having $200K in my bank account. You feel me? I don't like how I'm being treated for not being 6 feet tall. I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't like how I am just dismissed as a man for not having these things and these qualifications that majority of the women say they want, right? So you know what, man? I'm going to continue to work on myself, but you know, I don't like that. So let me go find somebody that, because we have options, because we can, we're going to go do it. Hey, yo, you know what? Because one thing about men, we're not just going to we're not going to stay stuck somewhere and be like, all right, woe was me. I can't do anything about it. If we can do something about it, we're going to do something about it. So if the homies is like, hey, yo, we're going to, you know, Asia, you know, we're going to Africa, and hey, we're going to go meet some women, and they actually are exactly what we said we want, you're going to go. You're going to go. And I understand it, right? I understand. Like me, like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have problems with women.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with women. I've never had a problem with black women, right? So I've never had even the thought of ever having to go somewhere to find a woman. But I understand that there's a bunch of men who have these issues. Like, and I try to take myself out of it, man. Like, I've been in a situation my whole life, sports, NFL, right? So my reality is not niggas' reality. You know what I'm saying? It's just not it. And my circle of friends, that's not people's reality. People's reality is like looking at the landscape of dating, like, oh nah, like I'm the odd man out, right? All these women want the same guy, and they competing for the same guy, and like nah. And I could sit here and try to become that guy all my life and cool, but it's still not work out for me. So I'm about to bounce and go get it.
I guess I have a question. I need a little more clarity because I feel like it may be some viewers and listeners that have the same questions, but like, are we saying that these passport bros are just picking up, taking off across the country to different countries, spending ample amount of time there, and then bringing somebody back? Is that how it's going?
That may be one way, or you maybe
one
just
way.
check trips, travel around the country. Travel around
Go
the
back and
world.
forth, probably.
You know, like, let's say I have 10 countries I want to hit, and out of those 10 countries, I see who I like, who I meet, who I can cultivate a relationship with, who I can keep in communication with, keep pulling up on her, seeing this. You know, and it's like, I get it. I agree exactly with what you're saying, but the idea isn't always as smooth. The execution is never as smooth as the idea.
No way.
Right.
No way.
So like the ideas are great. We have ideation all the time where we sit here and you be like, man, that's an incredible idea. Everybody has an idea how they want to become rich. Everybody has an idea how they want their family to look. But it's the execution that goes into the space of whether it is a good idea or it's a bad idea.
For sure.
And I'm not saying it's a good or a bad idea, but when you are in the business of trying to convince yourself that something outside of my country, something that I do know is going to be better than what I've already experienced in, because you have to go through that process. You have to, hey man, the girls is way better over here. Man, I'm not dealing with this no more. This is why I'm doing this, because you can't just tell your homeboy like, hey bro, I'm finna go to Colombia and I'm finna go to Brazil, because now you got to be vulnerable. Man, you know, being 5'9", man, is not really favorable for me over here. Matter of fact, let me be fair, being 5'6", it's not really favorable for me over here. You know, being 5'6", 215 pounds, not too many people like it. I got a good job. You know, I work hard. You know, my family loves me. I got a family, but, you know, the girl's not feeling me like that, you know, because I don't look like the guys that I stand next to. So, you know, I want to go overseas and see if I can find something. Nobody's saying that.
Nobody's
What they saying
Because
is,
that vulnerability part.
that's the vulnerability part.
It makes everything make sense.
You can't say nobody, but you're
Okay.
saying just generally
It's not happening.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is the guys who are publicizing this, you wouldn't know about it if they were saying that, because I only need my guys to know that. I don't need
Facts.
everybody to know
Facts.
that. Now, when I make it cool,
It's based on their insecurity.
for sure, I have to make it cool because because that's the only way I can spread the word.
Right.
I can't spread the word off of, man, you know, I don't got it like that.
Okay.
You know, and the girls that I want that look a certain way here, I know I could get that somewhere else.
Right.
And they'll be okay with the little bit that I do have. No, you got to say that. But instead, to make it publicized and to make it cool, you be like, man, the girls in America is whack. I don't want to even use any specific race. Just the girls in America is whack. You got to down it so you can make it make sense to the people and why I'm going over here, why I'm traveling, why I'm doing this.
I actually don't really. Okay, I understand what I received that for sure. I think when a conversation happens, it's actually, like, people are very detailed on why they don't want to deal with the women here. It ain't just they whack, right? It's literally things that contradict. Like, you and I are, and we're all, what's the word I'm looking for? The political term.
Snap.
Conservative.
Okay.
That's what we're all conservatives, which means, hey, yo, there's a certain way of doing things that we want done. All right, we're not liberal and just everything free flowing. That's not how we want order, right? We believe in a certain order, in a certain in your household, with your dynamic with your woman. That's how it is, right? So if guys got the money, and maybe he is 5'9", he can't control that, or 5'7", he can't control that, right? And maybe there is some woman in Nebraska that's like, you know, I'll love you for you. You get what I'm saying? For sure. But if he's seeing the field, and the field is telling him, based on social commentary, based on conversation, based on observation, right? If the field is telling him, hey, yo, like, you're not good enough for someone like me, okay? You don't have to seek any more information. You just take that knowledge and say, all right, cool. I'm not good enough. I'm out, right? And I think that's people are trying to convince men that, oh, nah, you should stick in, you know, you should stick here
hard.
And do the hard thing.
It's hard. Yeah.
You being a chicken. Nah,
I'm not saying that.
I'm saying that's what people
That's
that's the narrative, right? So when you hear men say, I'm gonna go do this, and like, oh, you doing that because they weak. Then you start disrespecting other women. Right? That's what happens. So now I'm like, okay, well, women just don't like men being able to just like have the option to do what they want. You get what I'm saying? And say, okay, this is not favorable to me, so I'm going out here, right? And the problem with people, not just women, or not just men, women, the problem is we try to convince other people when they're doing something that we don't agree with. We try to convince them. We try to highlight the negative that's going to happen because they made that decision, right? So, like, for instance, guys always do this to women. I hate when guys do this to women. Guys be like, oh, you want to be single? You going to be single for the rest of your life? So you better get a man right now. I hate that. That's not my business. If you want to be single and you don't have a man when you're 60, that's not my business. I'm never going to try to make you feel bad about that.
Yep.
Right? So if I want to go across the seas, if I'm a guy and I want to go across seas and meet a chick and it not work out or it not be as smooth as I think, right? That ain't your business to tell me that. You get what I'm saying? So now you're trying to convince me, or now you're trying to highlight the negative. That's not your business. All that matters is, if y'all didn't want me, they do.
I don't think that's what people are upset about. That's not anybody doing anything in their own time is not a problem with anybody.
So what's the issue?
The issue is demeaning anybody else
Along the way.
in order to validate your decision.
Correct.
That's where the issue is.
Correct. But okay, I got you. But I don't think it's necessarily demeaning when you're speaking like accurate information.
So tell me what accurate information looks like.
Let's do the height thing. All right, that's an accurate thing.
Yep.
Right. Poll women, bro. They'll tell you they 6 feet. Right.
Okay.
So if I'm 5'7", all right, and I'm 5'8", I'm 5'9", I'm less desirable. Okay? To women in America.
To who? The women that person wants. I know plenty of 5'7" guys that are in relationships that make less than 6 figures.
I actually know a few too.
So let's get specific.
I actually know
That's what I'm
too.
saying. Let's get specific.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So to the women I want.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Doesn't change anything.
It does. It changes a lot.
Why does it change anything?
Because that's what I'm saying. This is the buffer part where you will be 5'7", you'll be like, I'm not desirable to women here in America. That sounds much different than, hey, the women that I want, bro, they don't want me.
Okay.
Those are two
That's
totally
fair.
different things.
That's fair. That's fair.
So this is what I'm saying.
I receive
That is an aspect of the vulnerability that I'm saying that you are not necessarily you, but guys aren't bringing in.
Nothing changes except that I'm just offering my vulnerability now.
What changes is the way that you speak about somebody, and when it falls on their ears, how it makes them feel. That matters. Things that we say matter.
Yep.
Okay.
So when we say, hey, Passport Bros is lit, right?
Yep.
Instead of saying like, hey, yo, I wasn't able to find a woman that liked me. For the women that I like, I wasn't able to find them until I went here. That's different than saying, hey, yo, the women in America ain't it. Y'all should do That's different.
Yeah, and I think
now you bringing them in to have an opinion on
and
that.
I think the way I'm speaking about it is one way, but I think the conversation does happen like that. I think it does happen like that as well.
Hey, so men are on the front lines going overseas and they're coming back like, yo, women in America are trash. Is that essentially that's what the
narrative is.
That's what the narrative
is.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. That's what the narrative is. So like, I have no problem with you saying like, hey, yo, I'm observing. I want love. I'm not finding the women that I want.
I'm going to go find it over there.
I'm going to go find it over there. I don't care. You know what? Matter of fact, let me spin the globe by Ethiopia.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
headed
yeah.
straight there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I have no problem with you doing that.
Yep.
But when you say, hey, the women here are way better than the women here, you are now allowing the women here to have an opinion on what you're doing.
Hey, so
You're not just talking about yourself.
But let's ask a real question though. Like, if those are the men that aren't being desired, that are going over there and that are saying these things, why are the women even caring? And where are these women finding out that these men are saying this?
also it's on socials.
It's on social.
And they're making like blogs about it. Yeah, it's an
Okay,
actual
cool.
thing.
So they posting on socials. But again, if these are the men that aren't being desired, what's the big issue with the women? What are women so tied up about?
And this is what I'm saying. When men are saying they're not being desired by the women they want. It's plenty.
It's other women that's desiring
It's other
them.
women that's desiring them
them.
too. So when you say, "Oh, the women over here are this way," to me, how I hear it, it's the same way as "shut up and dribble." The girl who said it, she didn't matter. But you said it about me. You made me small by saying this. So now I have to say something because you made me small. I wasn't even thinking about you. We don't even know who that lady was that said it.
Yeah.
But you made me small. You made me say, okay, you can only be a basketball player.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I still feel like women would insert themselves in the conversation regardless.
I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Right. So even you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. A woman would still go, look at these guys over here. Look what they're doing. Right. Like I seen a vlog one time. It was just this girl talking about. Oh, this funny. This shit was funny. It was this airport. Right. It was full of just American dudes. They looked like they was just going out there to just have fun and find people, right? And there's a girls in the airport filming these dudes. She's like, look at these passport bros, all in the airport. Ladies, look at this, look at this, look at this, right? So they're gonna find a way to insert themselves into the conversation just because, right? Just because they understand that, okay, you know, it's like the guy diss. You know what I mean? It's like you see a guy in the club or a girl see a guy in the club. A guy try to get a girl number. She say, nah, I'm not fucking with you. All right. And then she see him go get another girl number that's tight. Right. And she's like, yo, he try to holler at me. Well, that ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna find a way to insert yourself. And another thing, I don't want to brush over this because I know we're talking about how guys aren't desirable. Some of these guys are desirable.
So it's not just
Some of these
it's
guys,
not the ones that catch a short end of the stick. It's guys that are up that are going over across these.
Some of these guys are definitely desirable, and those guys, it's not a matter of I can't find a woman, right? It's a matter of I don't want to deal with the American woman mindset. That's what it is, right?
But isn't that fair for someone to say who has dealt with American women his whole life?
I don't feel like the mindset is accurate in terms of how people describe it. Right? I don't feel like most American women think like that. But in your case, if you say, yo, this how American women, this how I view American women, cool. That's how you view American women, and you feel like it's easier out there, cool. Go do your thing. Just go do your thing because you have that luxury.
Well, what if it? You kind of touched on this earlier, but like, what if it's not because it's easier? What if I'm actually looking for something that is way more family oriented? Because here in America, it's looking like we're getting further and further away from that. It's looking like you guys are losing your morals or your values. And I want somebody who believes in something.
That's a thing. That's a thing. You know, because if you can go to a continent or a country where everyone has a similar mindset around family and around children and around, you know, being a wife or a husband, then you're probably going to have more success finding a woman that aligns with the things you want than finding it in America where it's a melting pot. Yeah. Where everyone thinks everything, right? Everyone, gays, lesbians, blacks, whites, Mexicans. It's just every type of demographic
exists here.
Principle, moral, whatever exists here, right? So you're sifting through a lot. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like when you're incubated in America, you just adapt this like liberated mindset where I don't want to conform to no rules or guidelines. And sometimes when you're a man, you're like, nah, all I know is like rules and guidelines. All I know is order. You know what I mean? So like I'm looking for a woman who's in alignment with that, right? So like I'm going overseas to find that.
Yep.
And I just think that I get it. I would never just like blatantly, I've never felt in my life, and I'll probably never feel in my life that I can't get the woman that I want here. You feel me?
Same.
It'll never happen. But I understand how someone can feel like that. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I understand it. I get it. I think we're having a conversation about the perfect scenario. I think we're having a conversation about the few guys who are going to go and find love based off of their moralistic beliefs, you know, whether it's religious, whether it's their morals, and they're like, man, I really want to grab that. Passport bros is not that.
They're gonna smack some, bring it back and control it.
That's that.
That's that on that.
Thank you for listening to the conversation.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And in doing that, people are saying American women are not like this, right? So you're pretty much saying like, yo, I do want to control more rather than because I talk to guys today that still don't believe that their partner can be their equal. Still guys who still believe that, right? Their partner cannot be their equal, and I'm sure that probably works for them, and they might be a passport bro as well. Me personally, I don't look at it like that. I look at my partner as an equal. So me going overseas, if I went overseas, I would be the guy you're talking about. I would be somebody who I could go over there. They would be educated. They would come from a 2-parent household. They would be family oriented. Like that is what I would go over there and look for. These guys are going over there looking for baddies and bring them back.
Also, too, you know, the countries you're choosing, you know, kind of dictate that too.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if I go to Colombia, it's a completely different narrative than if I decide to go to Morocco. Right? I'm talking about polar opposites here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it all
That's that too.
it all varies on where you're going.
That
you know what I
too.
mean? Because if I'm going to a very like religious country,
That too.
you know what I mean? I'm not going over there with that mindset.
I got you.
I'm not going over there to go smack something, try to come back. No, I'm actually going over there to look for something.
Yeah.
So that matters. But when you in the Colombias, the Brazils,
Yeah. You're not looking for a wife.
No, we get it.
You're not looking for a
We
wife.
get it.
Yeah,
We
that
know
makes sense.
We know what you're doing.
So you have to look into that too, because it
Yeah.
has layers to it.
It has layers.
It has layers to it.
You got
Wow.
to be selective about that.
Yeah. I feel like the passport bros, I think it's interesting, bro. Cause I'm someone who is just like, yo, I don't try to fight like what people want. Right? I don't try to fight, because when you start trying to fight what people want, it's always gonna be unfair. You get what I'm saying? Cause then you have to be like, all right, well, nah. If you ever as a woman are if you look out in the field and in your opinion, everyone is not good enough, or you don't like the way men are showing up today, right? But a prince in Abu Dhabi is like, nah, I'm gonna come to America and get you and take care of and give you the life that you want to live. All right? Now, I'm not gonna be like, he gonna piss on you. I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say if that's what you want to do because of the field, because you're not finding success, whether it's your fault or whether it's the guy's fault, right? You just know your scenario is not what you want it to be. Go do your thing.
Let's also,
You're funny.
let's be fair.
You're funny.
First and foremost, we can't talk about these things as if they're one-to-one. We're talking about, as black men, we're the most desired men in the world.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Black women don't hold that same sentiment. The
What do you
world,
mean?
the world
Doesn't hold the same
doesn't
sentiment?
give that to them the same exact way. So what they are down for is their black men.
Yep.
So you can say, oh yeah, if it's a black woman and she was just like, hey yo, I don't like black men, I like white dudes. It doesn't affect you, and it doesn't poke at your heart the same exact way where it pokes at her heart, where she already lives for the black man. So you wake up and you like, hey yo, no matter what, I'm loved. I'll be loved no matter what. I'll figure it out.
Nah,
That's valid.
You feel like that.
So
I feel like that. You feel like that. Every man don't feel like that. So that's what you got to take yourself out of the situation. You really don't know how dark it is for a lot of dudes out here.
I'm not saying every single black man. What I'm saying is the statistics say that black men are the most desired men in the world. The statistics say that. You know why? We hold the masculinity. We embody the traits that men possess the most optically to women. So they desire that. So with that being said, black men can't say that we could compare one-to-one how we would hear a black woman say, I'm not into black men, as it will be the same.
So when she say I'm not into black men, it don't hit her. It don't pierce us.
No,
it might not. But to me, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm very black. So to me, if I hear that, I'm like, that's nasty. I know you might not.
Yeah, no, I don't, because
I do. I hold that, and I'm like, yo, like you saying that tells me a lot more about you.
You dismiss everything she's going through, though.
No, I'm not dismissing anything. What I'm challenging her is to go ahead and get her rhetoric up. Because if you say I don't like black men, it's like, so you met everybody.
Nah, but that's not what it means.
I'm not taking away her experience.
Right. She's saying what I've met. That's what she says. That's what she means when she says that.
Be vulnerable and saying, hey, you know what? Honestly, the black men that I've dealt with, they don't really do it for me.
And that's fair enough for her to make an assessment to me. To me, like, I think that, okay, based on your experience, right? If you say that, I'm gonna assume that you met enough black men.
English is important to me.
I'm gonna say
language. I ain't gonna lie. Language is important to me.
Use your words.
I'm gonna
use
say,
your words.
I'm gonna assume that you met enough black men, and not only have you met enough black men, your friends have met enough black men. On social media, you see enough black men talking about women. I'm just saying, this is how it happens.
I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that because I one thing I've really learned about me, in order to connect with me, I need to feel and experience you being vulnerable.
Okay.
Now, if you telling me what you don't like, right?
A woman will never be vulnerable enough to tell you like her the things, the deficiencies in her.
Perfect. So if you're telling me what you don't like, right? You telling me what you don't like, and I could look at somebody that's standing right next to you and they wouldn't say the same exact thing. You actually have to tell me where that comes from. For example, if you tell me I don't like driving on the freeway at night, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, he really likes the streets. No, what happened?
What happened?
Okay.
For you to say, I'm not gonna say, nah, you need to get on the freeway. I'm not gonna say that. I'm
so
gonna be
then
like,
when she tells you and explains this, then what? You know what I'm saying?
If she tells me and she explains it, which
I'm just saying, and then what? Like, if she tells you and explains it, is it like, okay, cool, I get it?
I have no problem with nobody making the decision to do what they want to do, but when you have to make somebody small in order to make your opinion matter,
right.
I
doesn't matter.
I can't accept that.
Yeah.
For men or women, I just can't accept that. It doesn't because it's like
it's
that
sleazy.
feeling comes from a place. I just need to know the place that it comes from, so I can be like, oh nah. Even so, I can even help you.
Shot off. Yeah.
So I can even help you. You know, if, for example, if you like, hey, yo, I don't drive on the freeway at night. And you're like, why? I just don't drive on the freeway at night. I can't now tell, when he get in the car with you, like, hey, bro, make sure, don't ask him to take the freeway because he doesn't take the freeway.
Yep.
I can't double down on that for you. Because I don't know where that comes from for you. To me, you just saying that to be facetious. You saying that because it's something else in there that I don't know. And if you're going to tell me that, I require vulnerability.
Let me ask you this.
Does
Does things change, right? Does it change if I'm coming from America and I'm going to Africa to get a black woman?
Are you American?
If I'm American.
And are you making women in America small to go to Africa?
In the context of everything we're talking about, right? Let's take the Brazilian out the picture, and let's just make that person African. All right. Whether I am saying, the girls in Africa, if I'm, hey, nigga, y'all niggas got to come here to Africa and get these chicks, right? Is it the same?
Black women wouldn't be able to feel the same way.
Okay.
Because they choosing other women that look like you, even though they have different.
So is that a harder pill to swallow, or is
no?
easier?
It's not necessarily a harder pill to swallow.
I don't think so.
You can't. You're not making me small.
Yeah.
You're not making me small.
Okay. So now it's not a black. I don't think it's a black thing. I think it's a American culture thing because the white guys are doing it too. Right?
Are we talking about them?
Yeah, we're talking about.
We're not talking about
bro,
them. No.
Bro,
we're
go,
not.
Yes, bro. Go Google this. Go like YouTube.
The people
this shit.
listening, they're not talking about them, bro.
I'm saying though, this is not a black.
It's not a black thing.
This is not a black thing.
I
Bro.
get you.
This is not a black thing.
Well,
The feminist movement was
I'm-
started by white women, bro.
Right.
Like the white women are almost more feminist than black women.
No, hold on, wait a minute. We don't even want to get. I don't want to play with the feminist conversation because feminism was, like you said, it was brought in by white women.
Okay, cool. That whole thing is white.
That whole
Say,
thing.
we
is
ain't doing
white.
that.
So
we ain't doing that one.
So a lot of the,
How you gonna be a American black feminist?
yeah, but hold on. But so when men look at that landscape of the dating space and women, right? They just see feminism, right? And to men, feminism is no longer women's empowerment. It's along with women's empowerment. It's like emasculation. It's dismissive of being masculine. You know what I mean? It's all these things that are anti-men. I don't know where we're wrong, but that's what it is, right? So that's the culture of American women that guys are trying to get away from.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a black or white thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a culture of American women because I say I have to include this because this is where it started. You understand what I'm saying? I have to include
Do
it.
you feel like white women are mad at white men?
Yes.
I do.
Yes,
You guys
bro.
think so?
Yes.
You guys
So,
think so?
so I think within every so it's an American woman thing, right? But then within every subculture, they have their issue about it as well.
Yeah,
I
for
do
sure.
believe that because we're as black men sitting here talking about it. I know we're coming from the space of being black and it affecting black women and it affecting black men, right? I do believe there are white women who are upset about white men who leave the country and they demean white women in America in order to lift up another woman from another country. I do feel like that bothers them.
It never sounds as bad because it's never like, oh, white women in America.
Well, because
It's just American women.
yeah, those
You know what I'm saying?
tears.
It just never. It's like coming from guys. It's never like white women. I can't stand white women. It's just like like American women. I'm looking for other. I think that's it. But I understand everything you're saying though. Trust me, I understand everything you're saying. But like for me, and this is how I try to live my life, right? I just try to be fair.
Yeah.
That's how I try to live my life, right? And when I'm fair, I can do that because I've had such a great experience with women. You know what I mean? And I think y'all have had great experiences with women. So all I know is great experiences, right? But this shit that we got going on is not common.
I see.
And that's why I be trying to get people to understand that it's not common. The guys is not the same way. The reach with women is not the same way. The way women treat us is not the way women treat other niggas.
Question.
It's not.
Can social norms be monoliths?
Can social norms be monoliths?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a social norm.
Me too. Give me a social norm.
A social norm. I'm going to marry somebody that's American and I'm American. That's a social norm, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think that way. I just asked that because we have to understand the fundamental of where we're starting from. Mm-hmm. If marrying somebody within your country, whether you're American or whatever country, if marrying somebody within your country is the social norm, me personally, this is how I process. Mm-hmm. If you're doing something outside of the social norm, it requires more explanation. So if you're just like, oh, I'm gonna marry somebody, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go to Brazil to go find my wife. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can just say, I'm going to Brazil to go find my wife.
That's fair. Yeah.
So in the explanation is where I feel like that's where the wires get crossed, because instead of actually giving the explanation, you just say, oh man, because the woman is just better over there.
Yeah, because it's like, well, why am I explaining myself to you anyway?
Right. And me personally, right, and this is where the disconnect might be happening, because
explain.
you're the one that's participating in the thing that's outside of the social norm.
I should have to explain.
You should have to explain.
Right.
So I think that's where, for me, the
But-
disconnect lives.
But do you have to explain though to people who you think don't even want you?
No, that's what I'm saying.
No. I don't think you have to explain to anybody that is not within your immediate circle. But with that being said,
If I ask you,
how did this get popular? Because you were explaining to people that
Didn't know about it.
you were explaining.
okay.
And you weren't necessarily and it might have started off with one guy being vulnerable. It might have. I'll give him that. It might have started, right?
It's turned into something completely
And
different
it's
today.
turning into something completely different.
Yeah.
And that is not the stigma, and that is not the soot that lives on this.
Yeah.
That is not the thing that's affecting women. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, bro. I was in the store the other day. I seen a black woman, very attractive black woman. She was in her early 30s. I seen 3 other races of women as well. And this black woman, I seen her carrying her own bags. I seen her carrying all her own things. And I just, since being engaged, I just look at everybody's finger. These other women were engaged, or these other women had rings on their finger, and she didn't. And I just asked myself, I was like, I wonder why she doesn't have a ring. And I feel like so many black women walk around of value, of character, of class, and they have that question for themselves too. Mm-hmm. So when I see a guy telling me that I am a certain way that I haven't even been spoken to, I feel the need to say something. And I think that's the feeling that they walk around with. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what it is, because I know if I was already a guy who wasn't necessarily desired by any other race, and I lived for my black woman, and a black woman said, oh yeah, nah, I don't like black dudes. I'm like, where does she get off even saying something like that? Nobody even asked her for that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's men have to definitely be more honest, more upfront, more vulnerable with the reason why you doing what you doing, rather than making somebody else feel small for you. Do what you want to do. Don't make nobody else feel small in the process. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I know this is like different conversation, but how would this impact the culture if it was on the other foot? Like if women had passport girls.
Well, he's saying that, because men innately feel like we're the most, black men, we feel like we're the most desired men in the world. It wouldn't sting like that.
It wouldn't sting.
That's what you're saying.
But
so,
what I'm saying is, though, will we give them backlash for doing so? Because that's essentially what men are receiving is backlash for doing it.
It would just depend on what we're allowed to do, or what we feel like we're allowed to do. All right. I think when I see, it's funny, when I see men give women heat for dating outside their race, it's usually because it's usually not a matter of like, how could you date outside your race? It's usually a matter of like, this is all the shit y'all be talking. Look at y'all. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. It's like, look at y'all now. Like, where y'all at? Y'all champion and shit. So I don't even feel like niggas be caring like that. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, because I feel like most guys innately feel like, okay, anything, any kind of life you want to create in terms of like your romantic life, like you could create it. You just got to make sacrifice here and there.
Yep.
So if you as a young man looked up and all of the black women that were desirable in the country, let's just say 90% of the black women that were desirable in the country married white men.
And I felt like I wasn't a desirable man. That
period. I'm not even gonna say that.
Yeah.
90% of the black women that you see on TV and media, positions of power, marry white men.
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel anything.
Yeah, 90% is mostly people.
That's high, bro.
So what I'm saying,
that's not reality.
No, I'm not saying that it's not reality, but a lot of black men that are in positions, a lot of successful black men, black women see that.
That's not even a reality.
What I'm saying, they see it.
Okay.
They see it a lot more than we see it. We almost could name every black woman that is with a white man.
Almost.
We almost could name every single one.
Yep.
But just to clarify, what I'm saying is not reality is like most black men are not passport bros. Most black men are not dating outside their race. Mm-hmm. Most successful black men
will tell you that.
Most successful black men who are prominent figures are not dating outside their race. Mm-hmm. But you see it because they stick out more, right? Mm-hmm. That's what when I say like it's not the reality, I'm saying that part of it, right? I understand that this is what y'all see, right? If y'all see the black football player who just got drafted with his black girlfriend, you probably brush right over it.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
But the wide receiver with the white girlfriend.
The wide receiver with the white girlfriend, that's tabloid news.
Yep.
Right? So that's kind of how it works, right? But most of the time, especially for the guys you don't see, all the guys that you don't see in the NFL that's on TV, right? Them guys got black girlfriends. Mm-hmm. Black wives.
Yep.
That's the reality of it. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I meant by if you're listening to this.
I mean, I think very similar to you. I just am creating another perspective.
For sure.
I think in a space of, hey man, do what's gonna make you happy, but not at the expense of somebody else's happiness.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
No, I think you should do it even at the expense of someone else's happiness. I think that you shouldn't put down nobody. What you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm not saying. Somebody is.
Somebody got it. Somebody.
Yeah,
gonna be
like
hurt.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not saying somebody's in their closet like Helga Pataki with their fingers crossed, hoping that you'll fall in love with them without speaking to you, and you do it. Right?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like literally like just putting somebody else down.
You
Just
don't have to put nobody down.
you don't got to put nobody
You don't
down.
have to put nobody down.
You don't have to do that. But I think we spend a lot of time on the Passport Bros. But this was beyond that. This
Sure.
was
It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Yeah.
It was. This was. I feel like this was a cultural conversation, around. Because at the end of the day, we're humans, right? So we always find a way to separate ourselves, and this is one thing that people. I'll get backlash for this, but I would rather deal with racism than classism. I say that because I at least know if I see Jay-Z, we have something in common.
Yep.
We are always going to separate ourselves somehow, some way. Let's say all black people were together. We're going to start now looking at people's girls and be like, oh, well, she's light-skinned. She's not black enough. It's going to be something. People are always going to do something to separate people. So I think the conversations is good just to make people aware. But at the end of the day, like it's human nature to find the discrepancy that you don't like. Mm-hmm. That's just human nature. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. So in terms of these guys that's going overseas and meeting these women, all right, do you suggest that they just stay in America and just try to figure it out in America?
No. Mm-hmm. I don't suggest anybody do anything they don't desire to do. I think that you should go get exactly what it is you feel like you want.
It's gonna make you happy.
Go get what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Hey man, do it how the Baltimore Colts left the city, bro. Do it in the middle of the night on your own, bro. Nobody else gotta know.
Just don't put no other black woman down on the way.
Right.
Look, if you're a white man, don't put no white women down. If you're a black man, don't put no black men down. If you're a Hispanic, don't put.
Just don't be put the women down.
Don't be putting no women down. Just go do your thing.
I tell you what, this conversation is very easy to have when you got a black woman.
Yeah.
I tell you that, because I don't think you can have this conversation when you don't have a black woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can, but you know how to go. But yeah, man, fellas. Any additions?
Nah, I'm good. But actually,
yeah.
I don't want this video to discourage people from traveling the world, having fun. Like,
go meeting people.
Go meet people, man. Go meet people. Expand your network. You know what I mean? But just do right. Do right, bro. But go have fun, because that's how you grow. You evolve. You spread your wings.
Man, there's this black woman I follow on Instagram. She's an entrepreneur, but she's super successful. She's like I think blogger, writer, graphic lady. But she has like this, I think, Spanish husband or something like that, right? I forget. They travel together, but she's black. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And she's dark skinned.
Peter Black.
Yeah, she's dark skinned, and she just looks super happy. She looks super happy, and I'm not talking about like the fake happy. It looks like a just genuine, I rock with this dude based on just the things we got going on, not like no like luxury type shit. You know how it is. Sometimes I know why you with him.
Yep.
It don't seem like that. You know what I'm saying? I think that only happens if you just open your mind, and just give yourself the opportunity to just get out and just meet people, because you just never know what happens.
You never know.
And you may not even go with the intention of meeting anybody. Right?
I mean, that's actually the best way to travel.
You just meet someone.
You just meet somebody.
You just made me think about something. Man, part of the reason why I think maybe I give it so much pushback is because I truly know that outside of race, we don't date people because of anything else. Well, we don't connect the most with people outside of anything else but our IQs. You date people for their IQ.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about Passport Bros, it's we can't say that. I'm not gonna say they're not, but we just can't just go ahead and say like, man, they going over there and grabbing IQs.
They going over there and what?
They're grabbing people who think how they think, feel how they feel. And that right there, I think with the notion of understanding that prior to the conversation is probably where my issue lives. Even in the people saying the girls that I'm interested in aren't interested in me. You're not basing that off of the way you guys think, though. And like, we date people for our IQs. If you look across the board when it comes to your wife, you look across the board when it comes to your wife, bro, like we kind of, if we was in a classroom, we probably would have studied together.
Yep.
We probably would have had the same grades.
Yep.
We probably would have took the same classes. We probably would have had the same teachers.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where it's at.
I think,
And I learned that from watching interracial relationships.
I feel like I just heard that somewhere. That's good.
That they disconnect.
No.
Because of IQ.
No,
They connect with
that
each
they
other.
connect because of
Okay.
their IQ.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
and skin color has
yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Who was just? Did Candace Owens just say something about that?
Candace Owens spoke on that as well.
Candace Owens said something about that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that with guys, it's also, guys have this idea, bro, of, man, I really want this in a woman. Whether it's enough or whether it's sufficient, they really say, yeah, I really want this in a woman. Like, the IQ is great, but I want this. I want to work, and I want her to take care of home.
That's fair.
I think guys, first and foremost, right? And if she's sweet enough and she's nurturing enough and she is family enough,
I could bypass everything else.
I could bypass everything else. I'm talking about guys will bypass everything for a bad bitch in America.
Yep.
That's, man, so crazy.
Yup.
Because I hear that, but you still have to have a level of intellect to run the crib.
I'm talking
Like,
about as a woman.
As a woman.
As a woman.
So, like, just because your IQ isn't being used in the workforce.
Right, but you saying like the same level IQ.
I'm saying the same level IQ in the sense of, for example, if your girl is at the house and she's not working, doesn't mean that she can forget what she needs to do at the house. She cannot be organized. Like,
Yeah,
no.
but now you're not giving women credit over there and just saying like they're dumb as rocks.
No, that's
not
not
saying
that's
that.
not
He's
what
not
I'm
saying
saying.
that.
I'm
He's
not
not
saying
saying
that
that.
at all. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that's not even the thing that you're going after. You're literally
You say you're not even worried about the IQ.
you're not worried about the IQ. You're gonna always discover somebody's
I got
IQ. You're gonna find it. You're gonna
you
see
can't
it.
miss it.
You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Okay.
It's just as time goes on though, because I'm sure time went on with you guys and your partners, and you was like, yo, we kind of like actually in super alignment on that.
Yeah.
On that. And only experiences can show you that. But if you're serial dating somebody and then you move them across the world, like, you made your decision on the bed that you want to lie in before you even find that out. Like, you guys ever seen 90 Day Fiance? Okay. So me and Brittany watch a lot of 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, we watch a lot.
Oh,
of
it's a
90.
show, not a movie.
It's a show.
Okay. Okay.
Right? There are couples that have totally different lifestyles that, somebody traveled to the country, they met, they get married. You got 90 days to move them to your country. I mean, you got 90 days from the point that they living in your country to marry them, or they got to go back home, right? A visa apparently is 90 days, right? So that's why I call it 90 Day Fiance, right? Visa 90 days? Cool. That's why they call it
It could
that.
be 60, it could be 2 years, yeah. It's 90 days.
Okay. So you got 90 days, essentially, once they come over to plan your wedding. In that 90 days, people start to find out and start to look like, hey, I kind of was only attracted to you. I don't really.
We don't see eye to eye.
We don't really see eye to eye like that. And now we still trying to plan this wedding, which some couples really work because at the end of the day, their IQs, they mesh.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when you start looking at it, because I think IQ, people just think, okay, you take a test, math, reading, writing, arithmetic. No. Just the way you process. It's totally different. We can't do this.
Yeah.
Passport bros? I can't say that's why they're in it. That's all I'm saying. I can't say that's why they're in it.
Do you think, okay, so when you really look at the grand scheme of things, the passport bros, like the movement, it's not really big enough, right? A lot of niggas most niggas ain't just going over there, right? Is it big enough to worry about if you're a woman?
No, not worry about, but it's just another thing where somebody's just saying you're not worthy, and that's how you looking at it. Okay. It's just another thing we got to deal with.
And I guess when you do feel like that, it's just like, come on, something.
Okay, so we talk. Okay, so I know we speaking in the black realm, right? But just like a white woman, what is her like? What's her like? Her reasoning for caring? Like, why does she feel so strongly about it? Why do you think?
I think anybody gonna feel strong about somebody else putting them down.
Okay.
Like, just period. You're
Okay,
gonna
cool.
always feel strong about that. Even if somebody's not directly putting her down. Let's say, for example, she had a brother who was like, this is it. This is lit. And this is like, well, why do you gotta say all of these things in order to say this is how I want to live my life?
Yep.
And her knowing her brother, her knowing the deficiencies of her brother,
Yeah.
and knowing that he doesn't mean what he's saying. He's just saying that surface thing. Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah. Okay.
It's frustrating.
Okay. Hey, listen, y'all, appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Let us know what y'all thought, right? If you have any feedback, put it in the comments. Great dialogue, great conversation. Yeah, man, fellas, we good or
Gucci.
we good?
Good, man.
Good money, good money.
Good.
Yes, thank you for tapping in. If you are watching this right now, go ahead and like snap a shot, screenshot,
Hey,
take
travel.
a photo.
Travel.
I'm
not saying
that's what
travel.
I was saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Don't
don't
let that
travel.
discourage you. Nah, get out.
Travel.
Travel.
Choose your countries wisely.
Yeah.
Travel. It's expensive. Travel.
It's expensive.
It's expensive travel. But yes. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Subscribe to us on all streaming platforms. And yeah, just keep with the good vibes and tap in. Much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalan. This was another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's that on that. Peace.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand.